Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So, the video that I'm going to react to is a prime example of how it's never enough for a woman to simply uncover herself, in the sense that when a woman is wearing a burqa or a hair covering in Islamic tradition, for some reason the West really hates that, and that's I don't know. According to them, that's like that means that women are oppressed or something. I don't know what that means, but yeah, that's kind of what they get from it. And so the video that I'm going to react to is a prime example of how it's not enough to simply just take off the covering. Rather, they want you to strip completely naked. You can have a female who will strip completely naked, take a picture. Now she won't show the boobs but just watch this video with me and you will understand what I'm talking about. But what I'm trying to say is I'm gonna blur it out, by the way. So if you want to watch it, go to Candace Owen and she's gonna go ahead and show it to you. But me, nah, not on this page, buddy. I'm gonna blur that out. But my point is that the mainstream media will not criticize her for taking such picture. But if she was to put a covering on, completely covering herself, oh my God. Oh my God. The amount of outrage that would have been all over the place would be insane. And so with that being said, let's go ahead and just watch this quick video real quick, and you'll see what I mean.
All right, you guys. So I was telling you I had so many stories while I was on maternity leave that I wanted to cover. And I was keeping this running list on my phone. And some of the stories are cultural, some of the stories are political. So I just very quickly want to start with this Sabrina Carpenter viral album. And I promise you, I have something very important to say about this. This is not just a poppy topic. It's significant. So in case you're like me and you have no idea who Sabrina Carpenter is, this is an artist. Her name is Sabrina Carpenter, and she's very popular with the young crowd. She is, according to my producers who had to do this whole dive for me this morning, 26 years old, a former Disney Channel actress, which the writing's on the wall there, right? If you come from Disney for whatever reason, you got to have your butt cheeks out once you're out of Disney. But I want to say, I'm not trying to disrespect her whatsoever. I legitimately do not know who this woman is. I don't know a single one of her songs. I had to have my producers pull them this morning. And that's not because she's not marketable. Clearly she is. I'm just getting to the age where it's me. The music just doesn't sound good to me anymore. Okay. It just doesn't sound good. The voices don't sound good. The sound is not nice. I sound like a grandma. Maybe I am. All of it is weird and poppy. And I grew up listening to Lauryn Hill, right? Real vocals, grew up listening to Whitney Houston. And you just have to admit that there is a qualitative difference between the music of yesterday and the music of today. Just to very quickly give you a sample of that, here is Whitney Houston stripped down to just her vocals. Take a listen. Just incredible. Just reminding you that that's what music used to sound like. And now we fast forward and we have Sabrina Carpenter, and we also wanted to pull just her vocals. And she does have backup, even though she says this is a cappella, but this is Sabrina Carpenter's sound today. So it's just not for me. Like, I feel like I could do that. It's like talking a lot.
Hey man, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Come on. I have a trained ear. You got help. That's not just your voice. Man, really? You think we're that stupid? I
can't mimic Whitney Houston. Anyway, Sabrina Carpenter, no insult again to her. If there's a buyer and you are a seller, whatever, it's the free markets. She has had a lot of brushes with the media because she has this extremely sexual brand, right? And like I said, it's a rite of passage for Disney.
Now, with this whole sexual brand is not something that's new, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know Miley Cyrus? Yeah, you guys remember the infamous twerking? Yeah. What about Jojo Siwa? Yeah. She portrayed herself as gay, by the way. And now she's coming out saying that she is, straight now. After she's already done damages, among the young. And one thing you will understand and notice is that these people are very popular among the young. When they come from the Disney scene and the kid shows and stuff like that, and they're trying to make their way into pop culture and I guess you can say the big boy stuff. Yeah, they become very sexual for some reason. Huh. Weird. The correlation is just mind-boggling. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna keep letting it play because if I get to the correlation, we'll be here for quite a while.
People, Miley Cyrus, Christina Aguilera, they get all grown up and suddenly want to take their clothes off. And Sabrina is one of these individuals, despite being 26 years old. It's not like she's in her early 20s coming out of Disney, but she's 26. And she feels that she needs to crank up the controversy. Like it's not enough to just be sexually explicit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I understand that this is blurred, but if you want to watch it for yourself, if you're, perv enough to go ahead and click on Candace Owen and go see it for yourself, by all means, knock yourself out. I'm not going to show you guys on this channel. She's only 26 years old, ladies and gentlemen. She's only 26 years old. The fact that you are here, and this is the first time, most likely, this is the first time of you hearing about this, goes to show you that the West doesn't have any problem with females being completely naked on screen. They have no problem with that. But you know what they have problem with? Is when a female decides to cover up from head to toe. Oh man, that's their boogeyman right there. Yeah, they hate that. Ooh, yeah, we can see these women in clothing. Are you kidding me? That is such slavery. That is such oppression. That's so demeaning. That is dehumanizing. We need these women to be completely butt naked on the street. Then they will be liberated. That is their definition of liberation, ladies and gentlemen. You guys think that it only stops at taking off the hairscarf? That's why when I see the so-called Muslim women taking off the hairscarf and then they say, "Oh my God, I feel so empowered," and I'm just like, "Oh, you fool! You think that's enough? Are you kidding me? You think that is enough?" Anyway, next.
Here she is on the cover of Rolling Stone. Her music is very sexually explicit, as I'm told by my producers. But now she is releasing her latest album cover, and I want to show you guys this. The album is entitled Man's Best Friend. Take a look at this album. Now, in case you're listening to this just on...
She's pretty much saying that she's a dog. See, this is the problem. Ladies, when you were born, ladies, you already had such a high value. Your value is up there. As a man, my value is down here. I have to make something of myself in society so that way I can have value. You as a woman, you are already up here. And it's your job to keep yourself up here. So now you have this woman. She's gorgeous, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to lie to you. She's extremely beautiful. But you have her just degrading herself to the level of a dog. Something that you put a leash on and, walk with. A man's best friend. We all understand what that reference is. So somebody who is born at such a high esteem, she literally just degraded herself to such a low esteem. This is what the West wants for you, ladies. They have no problem with this. They have no problem with you calling yourself a dog. They have no problem with you stripping completely naked and posing on Instagram, posing on TikTok. They have no problem with that. But they have a problem with the female that wants to cover up. They have a problem with the female that cares about her esteem status. They have an issue with that because men, we are visual creatures. The people who are pushing this idea that females should go ahead and dress naked and post sexual nudity on the internet is mostly men that are promoting these things. All the site that is promoting all these hardcore, sexual content on the internet is owned by men. I don't understand why you guys don't understand that. Sexual liberation, it doesn't benefit you, ladies. It benefits men. The more men you sleep with, the lower and lower your level become. the more unappealing you become to men. Men, we want to be with a woman that has been with the least amount of men as possible. But you have society telling you females that you should go out there and have fun, enjoy yourself, open your legs to whomever and any to whomever. Truth of the matter is, you may be enjoying it, but the men are the one who are benefiting from it, because men, we are ingrained to spread our seed. We will sleep with anybody and everybody. This is how men work. Females, it is your duty to control that between your legs. That's your job. Men will say anything and everything to get in between the legs, even though they don't have the idea of putting a ring on it. They don't want to put a ring on it. They just want to bust a nut and call it good. That's why we have the catchphrase, post nut clarity. Because once we sleep with you, guess what? In the back of our mind, we are saying that we best to call Uber for you so you can get the out of here. We're done with you. That's how men think. A lot of us out there, that's how we think. But you guys are so in your feelings that you can't seem to understand that. And this is coming from a man. I'm telling you this. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and stop it right there. If you made it this far, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. But what I will tell you is, if any female watches this, just understand that you're valuable in society. You're important. You were born with such high status. Don't let other females out there tell you that, hey, you should sleep with as many men as you can, because in the end, it's going to harm you. It's going to harm you. And that's all I got to say.